Next, I'd like to welcome Christine Karras, the Deputy Area Manager for the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation in Klamath Falls, Oregon. She'll be providing an update on the Conservation Implementation Plan.
Well, I'm sure that many of you are already familiar with this program, and so I'm going to give you a very brief description of it and let you know that we have a meeting upcoming on December 6th and 7th, and there's also something in your packet that talks about it. So I'll try to be brief here, and then I will yield my time to the next speaker. The C.I.P is a basin-wide effort, and it will be created pretty much by the people in the basin. We've gone around and gotten input from them, and that is how the program is being formulated. Some events that support are going forward with this type of a process are listed here. I won't read them all to you, but you're probably familiar with all of these. And I would point out that it is a requirement of the NOAA Fisheries biological opinion on the Klamath project that we formulate this project. So far, we have had 6 public meetings up and down the basin and numerous of the Chadwick sessions. At every one of those public meetings, there was someone, if not many people, who said that they'd participated in the Chadwick sessions and got a great deal out of them, and they felt that that process needed to continue. So based on that public input, we pretty much put a stop to the progress of the C.I.P. for nearly a year and contributed funding so that more Chadwick meetings can take place. And there were 5 large meetings plus numerous other listening sessions. And I think that these have really helped a lot of people to come together and understand each other. And of course, we also gave many presentations to special interest groups. We've met with all the counties and different organizations and things like that. And so far, we spent a little over $3 million aiding the existing groups that have restoration plans or activities to move forward with those plans. Because the C.I.P. is not something new that's going to come in and take over. It's basically going to work with and through the existing groups, providing them with resources they don't have, and helping everybody to coordinate, because the coordination is a really major effort. We've had 3 draft program documents, and if you compare, say, the very first document to the current document, you can see that they're different as night and day. And that's because the idea that we had was based on a program in the Upper Colorado Basin. And when we introduced it to people here in the Klamath Basin, they said, well, that's not going to work for us. It's going to have to be dramatically different. So we put out the second draft and shopped that around and said, okay, do we get it right? And most people said, well, no, it's better, but. So we now have the third draft, and it is on our website and has been circulated. So we also have a directive to continue, and when I say we, I think I mean just about everybody in the basin, because the president formed a secretarial task force, and that task force put together a document that they signed, and it was signed by a Republican governor from California and a Democratic governor from Oregon, which in and of itself is quite a feat. Plus, the Secretary of the Interior, the Secretary of Commerce, and the Secretary of Agriculture all signed that document, as did the Administrator of EPA. And amongst the many other things that are in there, it says that they support a C.I.P.-like process for the Klamath Basin to resolve the natural resource issues that are here, recognizing the fact that it's only going to be through an inclusive basin-wide process that we're able to make true, lasting progress. So Reclamation is sort of an unlikely organization to be the one heading this process. So you might ask yourself, really, what is Reclamations' role in this? And our role basically is to just formulate the document. We've held the meetings, we've gotten the input, we're basically the scribe who's writing it down and providing the initial funding to get some things going on the ground. It's just going to be a mechanism to help people work together. there's so many great efforts going on that, we wouldn't want to impair them in any way or supplant them, but they could truly benefit from additional resources such as funding and technical resources, from coordination amongst themselves, and a science team that could provide advice, as well as, like we're currently providing engineering support to some people doing fish screens and ladders in the mid-basin area, different things like that. The current goals are here, as you see. Now, it started out as strictly an endangered species recovery program, and people said, no, that ain't gonna work. This has to treat all species. It needs to be an ecosystem restoration program, and so the current goals are that, and to contribute to fulfilling the federal government's tribal trust responsibilities. And we want to sustain agriculture and industrial use and other uses of water, but we recognize that demand reduction is going to have to take place throughout the basin. So that's our third goal. And then the final one is to foster lasting partnerships. The C.I.P. may not always be called the C.I.P. It might morph into something else, and it might go over to a different agency or some type of group to run it. But it's the concept here that we're trying to get started and moving forward. So with the aid of a consulting firm called Eco Resources, we have now a new organizational chart for how the different groups and committees could work together. And these folks have a lot of experience in organizational development, where they've taken and formulated organizations for different purposes from the ground up. And they went ahead and looked at the results of all our public meetings and the Chadwick sessions and read the first couple drafts. They conducted interviews with people in the basin, et cetera, and they've now proposed a new organizational chart, and we're putting the final touches on it, and that will be set out to folks pretty recently. Now on December 6th and 7th at the Red Line in Medford, we're having a working session. The goals of that working session are to take our goals and get them to the point where they're year one goals. Everybody can agree to those goals. They won't be perfect. You may have additional goals or whatever, but at least here's a starting point. So we'll have year one goals and we can get moving instead of just meeting and talking. And also to take that organizational chart and the decision-making processes and things that all feed into the organization, finalize that, and then be able to start populating the committees and getting on with it. And again, Reclamation has a couple $1 million in their budget for the current fiscal year that we can use to forward this program. If you want to find the third draft, this is the website where you can find it. And we have a standardized format for our website. So I have to admit it's a little hard to find, but if you go to this site and look on the left-hand side, there's a hot link that says reports and documents or something like that. And if you click on that, it'll bring you to the third draft of the document, which you can then download. If anybody doesn't have access, just let me know and I'll get you a paper copy. And with that, I'd just like to say thank you, and I hope to see everybody there on the 6th and 7th that can make it. It's a bit off the topic, but I just wanted to inform everybody of one more item. You may have seen it in the papers already, but the Bureau of Indian Affairs, in cooperation with Reclamation and the Modoc Point Irrigation District, have finally signed an agreement, and we're going to remove Chiloquin Dam, which will open up that'll open up a great deal of spawning habitat. So during the site visit for the potential contractors to bid on the project is tomorrow, and we hope to sign a contract as quickly as we can for a construction firm. In 07, they will construct an alternative facility, a pumping plant, and then in 08, they'll actually remove that dam. And I hope to see all of you to celebrate that event. Okay, thank you very much.